Before the crack of dawn, before the sound of gunfire echoed across the Massachusetts countryside, there was a man on horseback, riding through the darkness with a message that could change the course of history. He was neither a soldier nor a politician. He was a craftsman, a silversmith by trade, a citizen who understood that the fate of a people often rested on the courage of one determined individual. This is the story of Paul Revere, the man who made history with a midnight ride, but whose life encompassed far more than a single heroic night. Paul Revere was born on January 1, 1735, in Boston, Massachusetts, into a family steeped in craftsmanship and community responsibility. His father, Apollos Revere, had immigrated from France and was a skilled silversmith. His mother, Deborah Hitchborn, managed the household and instilled a sense of civic duty in her children. From a young age, Paul learned precision, patience, and the importance of reputation, skills that would serve him not only in his trade, but also in the revolutionary work that lay ahead. By his teenage years, Revere was apprenticed to his father and later to a master silversmith, learning the art of crafting intricate objects from silver. He developed a reputation for meticulous work, producing everything from teapots to church items. But it was not only his craftsmanship that distinguished him. Revere was also politically aware, a keen observer of colonial unrest as tensions with Britain escalated. The Boston of Revere's youth was a city simmering with discontent. The Stamp Act, the Townshend Acts, and the tea tax were not abstract policies, they were tangible intrusions into daily life. Merchants and artisans like Revere felt the burden in their pockets and in their pride. Revere, a member of Boston's Sons of Liberty, emerged as a civic-minded activist, leveraging his networks as a craftsman and tradesman to organize protests, spread information, and cultivate resistance against British authority. Revere's work as a silversmith gave him more than skill, it gave him credibility. His shop was a gathering place, a hub for conversation about politics and rebellion. It was here that the ideals of liberty were debated over tools and molten silver, and where Revere developed the connections that would eventually place him at the center of revolutionary action. By 1773, tensions in Boston reached a boiling point. Revere actively participated in the Boston Tea Party, a daring act of defiance against British taxation. Colonists, disguised as Mohawk Indians, boarded ships and dumped tea into Boston Harbor, an act that would reverberate across the colonies and mark Revere as both a patriot and a man willing to risk retribution. Revere's role was not as a leader of the boarding parties, but as a communicator and supporter. He helped plan and execute the political message behind the action, understanding that symbolism and coordination were as crucial as bravery. Yet it was on the night of April 18, 1775, that Paul Revere's name would be forever etched in American memory. British troops were preparing to move from Boston to Concord to seize colonial weapons and arrest leaders of the rebellion. Revere, along with other writers including William Dawes, was tasked with warning the countryside. The plan was simple in theory, but fraught with danger. Carry urgent information across miles of rural roads, through darkness and past enemy patrols. Revere's ride was anything but straightforward. He rode across the Charles River to avoid detection, then mounted his horse to begin the journey north. Along the way, he alerted key patriots in Charlestown, Medford, and Lexington, spreading the alarm that British forces were on the move. His ride was not the lone cinematic gallop portrayed in popular legend. He was part of a network of riders, each contributing to a coordinated effort to mobilize the colonial militia. Yet Revere's name became synonymous with the act of warning, a symbol of alertness, courage, and civic responsibility. Though Revere was eventually captured by British patrols before reaching Concord, the mission succeeded. The colonial militias were prepared, and the confrontations at Lexington and Concord ignited the Revolutionary War. Revere's ride demonstrated more than personal bravery. It highlighted the power of communication, planning, and timely action in shaping history. After the Revolution began, Revere's contributions continued, though less celebrated. He served as a courier and intelligence officer for the colonial army, using his knowledge of the countryside and his network of contacts to support the revolutionary cause. He was involved in the early stages of artillery preparation, working with Henry Knox to move captured cannons from Fort Ticonderoga to Boston, a critical logistical achievement that helped lift the British siege. Despite his patriotism, Revere's life after the war was modest. He returned to his craft, producing silverware and other items, yet he remained engaged in civic and community life. He also expanded his skills, taking on work as a copperplate engraver and pioneering early American business methods. He understood the importance of industry, innovation, and self-reliance, traits that mirrored the revolutionary spirit he had helped ignite. Revere married Sarah Orne and later Rachel Walker, raising a family while maintaining his trade. His children carried on his legacy in various ways, some following him in craftsmanship, others in civic engagement. Though he lived long enough to see the new nation take shape, Revere never became a political leader or public official. His influence lay in action, example, and the quiet power of reliability and preparedness. In his later years, Revere reflected on his life with humility. He did not seek fame or monuments. His identity remained intertwined with his work, his community, and his principles. When historians and artists later immortalized his midnight ride, he accepted the recognition, but consistently emphasized the collective effort of the patriots, like him, who acted courageously in extraordinary circumstances. Paul Revere died on May 10, 1818 in Boston. He was 83 years old. By that time, the nation he had helped ignite had survived its first decades, weathered political turmoil, and begun to establish its identity. Revere's life was not marked by political office or wealth, but by consistent engagement, courage in critical moments, and a lifelong dedication to his craft and community. Today, Paul Revere is remembered primarily for his midnight ride, a symbol of vigilance and patriotism. Yet his broader legacy offers deeper lessons. He exemplifies the ways ordinary skills, ordinary citizens, and ordinary lives can intersect with extraordinary moments in history. He demonstrates that history is not only shaped by generals and presidents, but also by artisans, communicators, and community-minded individuals who choose courage when it matters most. It underscores the importance of networks, local knowledge, and the quiet power of responsibility. His life teaches that bravery is not always public spectacle. It can be measured in careful preparation, in thoughtful engagement, in the courage to act when the moment demands it. When we celebrate Revere today, we honor more than a single night in April 1775. We honor a life of skill, devotion, and quiet determination. We recognize that the freedom he helped ignite was built on both extraordinary events and the accumulation of disciplined, persistent effort. In remembering Revere, we remember that the impact of one life can ripple outward, shaping generations far beyond the individual, and that heroism often arrives not in grandeur, but in the sober, steadfast act of fulfilling one's duty. Before the dawn breaks, before history is written, someone must be ready. Paul Revere was ready, and because of that, an entire nation found its voice.